It is official. Bob Iger is no longer the CEO of Disney and no longer supreme chancellor of the entire planet, pretty much. Yeah, it's honestly, you really can't overstate how big of a deal this is. Bob Iger was, he will probably go down as the greatest CEO of Disney, probably behind only Walt himself, really. So in this video, I just kind of want to go through pretty much everything he did that really will solidify him as one of the greats. So, first of all, the dude bought Pixar. If you, a lot of people might not know, but Pixar wasn't always like a Disney-owned studio. I believe Disney always like distributed their movies, but Pixar wasn't actually owned by Disney when I think I want to say up until before the first Cars movie was released. Yeah, I think it was pretty much up until that point. Like in 2006, I think is when Disney bought Cars, and yeah, I mean, at that point, Disney's animated output wasn't doing too hot. They had movies out like Brother Bear and Chicken Little, which, by the way, I actually have a bit of a soft spot for Chicken Little. Cinematic masterpiece, all right, Chicken Little, that their film. But yeah, like Disney's output wasn't exactly doing too hot, and Bob Iger came in and he was like, "You know what, mate? If we can't beat the competition, let's just buy them." And yeah, so Bob Iger bought Pixar, and that basically saved their animated film division, because obviously you get this entire catalog of some of the best animated films of all time, and Pixar continued to make incredible animated classics. Under John Lasseter's leadership, when you bought Pixar, he basically became essentially the head of both Pixar and Disney's animated division. So then you got a bunch of higher quality, like Walt Disney animation proper films, stuff like Tangled and Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph. Like they're even like Disney proper, their animation began to improve after that. So that is the first masterful stroke that Bob Iger did. And then after that, he made the obviously incredible move of buying Marvel Studios. Again, Marvel Studios was not always owned by Disney. Like before Disney bought them, Marvel Studios was like its own. It was its own thing. And I believe, I think they released the original Iron Man, and then Disney bought them. I'm pretty sure that's how that plays out. And yeah, that was obviously, and yes, like you have to remember, this was before the Avengers. This was before like anybody knew that the MCU was going to become the biggest movie franchise of all time. This before all of that, Bob Iger saw something in Marvel Studios, he saw something in Kevin Feige, and he made the move to buy them. And, you also, obviously Kevin Feige gets most of the credit, but you also have to, like, Bob Iger has also been managing all of this, and has helped turn the MCU into what it is today. So, obviously, that's a huge part of his legacy, buying Marvel. And then he went out and he bought Lucasfilm. Now, this is where it gets a little dicey, of course. And here's the thing. I'm personally not a huge fan of what Disney has done with Star Wars, and that's like when we say he bought Lucasfilm, we're really saying he bought Star Wars. Like, you know, like that's the main thing that they've really done things with. Obviously they're working on an Indiana Jones movie right now, but like they really bought Lucasfilm to buy Star Wars. And yeah, like I said before, I'm personally not a huge fan of what they've done with Star Wars, but you can't deny that the movies have made a lot of money. Pretty much almost all of them have made $1 billion except for one. That is Solo. That is the one just complete disaster. So if you're kind of looking at it objectively, you still have to call the Lucasfilm acquisition a win. Now, on a creative level, on just a managerial level, yeah, not the best thing that he's done. So, and the reason why I say that is because, I mean, first of all, I personally haven't liked a ton of most of the movies that they've made. I think really the only movie that I really like is The Force Awakens. That's pretty much the only one. I think everything else, and I haven't seen Solo, by the way, so I can't really speak to that one, but I haven't really loved everything else, any of the other movies that they've done. But my God, the behind the scenes just drama of Lucasfilm is beyond ridiculous. Honestly, that's another video for itself that I can make at some point, but just like and you know, Bob Iger put in Kathleen Kennedy, or actually I think that it was like a deal when George Lucas sold Lucasfilm. He opted to put in his own, like he opted to choose his successor as a, what is it called, like I don't know, is it the CEO of Lucasfilm? Because like I'm not a business person guy thing, all right, so don't get on my dick, all right. But yeah, like I think George Lucas, it was part of his contract where he was he would choose his successor, you know, as the leader of Lucasfilm. So he chose Kathleen Kennedy, and yeah, it's really Kathleen Kennedy that's done a not great job of obviously leading Lucasfilm, because she just is incapable of properly communicating with her creatives. And we've seen so many directors come in and leave and leave projects, movies announced, no, they're not happening anymore because of creative differences or whatever. It's just a clown show over at Lucasfilm, and yes, that obviously that is going to taint Bob Iger's legacy a little bit. But if we're talking about success, you cannot say that Star Wars hasn't been successful for them, because it just simply has. So yeah, even though it's a little bit more muddled, I think you have to have Star Wars be, you have to put it in the success column when we're talking about Bob Iger. And that leads me to Bob Iger, his biggest move as CEO. And that is the acquisition of Fox and the launch of Disney Plus. Now, I put these two together because they are pretty recent, so we can't really say whether or not these things are going to pan out as successes or failures at this point. But we can still talk about them. Now, first of all, the acquisition of Fox, I think, was like $78 billion around that mark, and it's obviously an insane amount of money. But it actually was really smart, because when they bought Fox, they really bought Fox. And by the way, when they bought Fox, they really bought their film divisions. Like I think Fox, like the channel, like the television channel, that's still its own thing. But they bought Fox's like film division, so they have now Disney owns all of their films and TV Is it TV shows as well? I don't think so. I think it's just film. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about this, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so the reason why this is probably going to end up being a good move is because of the launch of Disney Plus. Because the thing with streaming services is that you just need content. You need as much content as possible. So the reason why I think that that Bob Iger's moves here are so intelligent is because with the launch of Disney Plus, not only do you have all of Disney's catalog of content, obviously they've opened the vault or whatever, and so you have all the classic Disney movies, you're going to have all the new Disney movies, you're going to have all of Marvel and all of Star Wars. Now, they also have all of Fox to just put on Disney Plus. At least all the family-friendly stuff. All of the non-family friendly stuff is probably gonna go onto Hulu because, and I again, please correct me if I'm wrong here because I'm doing this on the fly. But I believe that when they bought Fox, I think they also ended up owning the majority share of Hulu. So obviously, like all the more mature content is probably gonna end up on Hulu instead of Disney Plus. But still, not only do they have all of their own stuff, but now they have this ginormous catalog of content from the Fox acquisition that they will now be able to put on Disney Plus. And yeah, that's also kind of why I decided to group these two together into their own topic. So that was Bob Iger's last move as CEO, real big move at any rate. And honestly, I think it was pretty masterful, and I think it's going to end up panning out and just being the cherry on top of what is already his absolutely insane run as Disney's CEO. But yeah, it's going to be it for this video. Honestly, I don't really know what to say. Bye.